Hello, bonjour, Alberta. Did you know that at least 238,000 people speak français in Alberta? And those numbers just keep on growing? Oui, oui, c'est vrai, it's true. And thanks to Shaw TV Community Access Programming, we get to reach out to everyone to let you know all about special people, places, events, and activities happening right here in this great province, in both English and en français. That's right, mes amis. We begin the first part of our program in English, and then we repeat it en français. So stay with us. Restez à l'écoute.
Welcome everyone to Hello Bonjour Alberta. We're in 2016, season 10. I'm Anne Boiteau.
And I'm Marc Lalonde.
And today we welcome Barney McIlhargey and Jacques Godin. Barney is the captain of the Calgary Ice Canoe team.
That's correct, yeah.
And Jacques is also a member of that team. Welcome, gentlemen.
Welcome, guys.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
So we'll start with you, Barney.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit of where you're from and how you ended up.
Ice canoeing?
Yeah.
Well, I'm from Calgary. I'm about a fourth generation Calgarian. Ice canoeing for me happened about like 25 years ago, and at the time I was playing rugby. And one of the rugby players, and there was a few of our guys were on the ice canoe team, and one of the rugby guys came up to me and said, "Look, Barn, we're looking for a guy, a little guy that's fit and a little crazy for the front of the boat." And I said, "Why are you crazy?" "Well, because you're the first guy off the boat, and if the ice is thin, you're going to break through." "Oh, okay, well, I could be that guy." So that's how I got involved. Actually, not from paddling, it's from playing rugby. So that's how I got introduced to it, and so I started my first season after that, and it's been great. It's been really good.
Good. So you don't do this here in Calgary?
We practice here in Calgary. There are no scheduled races, but we practice here. We practice on some frozen lakes, and we'll do skirting practice, and also on the Bow River. We go out there. If you go out there on a Saturday or Sunday, a lot of times you'll see us around Princess Island, up to as far as Bowness, as far down as the Weir, and we practice our canoe.
That's still water, though.
No,
not
it's ice. No, in the winter.
Oh, is it?
In the winter, yep. So we'll
okay.
go onto the ice and into the water to practice transition. So you have to be able to go from water onto the ice quickly, ship your oars, get out of the boat before the boat gets sucked back into the water, and move it up onto the ice. And same thing going into the water, be able to go into the water smoothly. So people are getting into the boat smoothly as it enters the water, so it doesn't start doing this, flip on you. So
still a canoe.
It's still a canoe, yeah. So you have to be careful.
Okay, and Jacques, where are you from?
I'm an Acadian from northern New Brunswick, and I found myself in Jasper in just after the Winter Olympics in the spring of '88. And it was an opportunity for me to move from Jasper to Calgary and to continue my passion. I was a river guide for a number of years. That took me through university, and it was meeting a raft guy there that had a t-shirt from the Calgary Ice Canoe team, and through a conversation he says, "Yes, I'm on the team at the moment," and I applied for the position to train and get out of my comfort zone. And here I am 20 years later. It's been a great journey. We've lived many great adventures together here in training and out in Quebec and around the city, the city of Quebec.
So I guess, I mean, this is a fairly big sport in Eastern Canada,
Yes.
especially in Quebec area.
Mm-hmm.
So give us some history. How did a Calgary end up with a team and an elite team from the sounds of
Yeah.
it in ice canoe?
What happened is
racing?
there was, at the time, back in 1967, there was a group of guys. Vic Maxwell at the time was the captain of a Voyageur team that raced from Rocky Mountain House to Montreal for the 67 Expo. And then they went back the following year into Quebec in 68, and they saw that this ice canoe race. And these guys are marathon paddlers, and they were Voyageur paddlers. And they thought, you know what, we can do this. So in 1969, they went back to Quebec City, and that was the first race. So that's when Calgary first got involved.
So the initiative came from here. And
Came from here,
Invited,
exactly.
they decided, hey, we're in with you
We
guys.
want to go do this because we're paddlers.
Yeah.
We're Voyageur paddlers. We're marathon paddlers. We think we can do this. So they came down and entered up, and that's when it started.
Okay.
It is kind of the extreme sport of canoeing here, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
does it
pretty
get any
extreme.
rougher than that?
I can't say that I've done anything. Like I mentioned to you, I played rugby for 20 years.
Yeah.
This was harder than rugby. You don't try to punch you, mind you, but it's definitely physically very demanding.
Yes.
For sure.
And it's a sprint, right? It's not a marathon.
No, you're going hard, yeah.
Yeah.
You've got, yeah.
And how long is a race usually,
Well,
on average?
It kind of combines, we're like triathletes that have two transition. We have transition every few minutes. So we'll have 50 to 100 transitions in a half an hour to an hour race. And
from water to ice
Yeah.
to water.
yeah, and we're
Sliced hard ice.
sprinting for anywhere from 45 minutes to 3 hours, depending on the conditions.
Exactly.
And we're not necessarily talking about nice flat
No,
ice that you're
nope.
flying on here.
And
This
that's
could
the
be-
thing. The conditions, like Jacques said, it could be it could be an hour race, or it could be 3.5 hours, and you don't finish because it all depends on the tide, depends on the size of the ice, depends on the wind. So the race could totally change depending on the conditions at the time.
Wow.
The
It's never
course,
the same.
That's right.
Yeah.
The course remains the same, but we have to compose it whatever Mother Nature's got up her sleeve that year.
Exactly.
And every 5 or 6 years, the current goes the opposite way. It inflows upstream towards Montreal, and that changes the whole dynamic of the race.
Yeah.
And it's like a leap year. It's like this month we're having the 29th day in February. It's that there's something special about the year where we have to navigate against the current
Yeah.
to get to where we're going.
Wow. And you're talking about the big race that you do during Carnival
Yes,
time,
exactly.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so how big are these boats? How many
Yeah.
people are involved?
About 28 to 29 feet long. They're about 4 feet wide. There's 5 people in the boat. It's typically rowing. There's 4 rowers, and there's a cox at the back, which is me, the captain, and steering the boat and picking the lines and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, because you have to do that all the time.
You have to do that all the time. The front guys, where Jacques has been, I used to be at the front, but now I'm at the back. But the front guys do a lot of the little corrections. I'm kind of looking like across the river. I want to get to this point, but how we get there sometimes foot by foot may change. All of a sudden, Jacques sees and he's at the front of the boat. Well, there's this big chunk of ice here. Like, do we want to hit it? Maybe if we just go a little left, we'll get around it. So they make the small corrections because when it's going on, for me at the back, sometimes you can't see those small corrections. Plus, you can't hear anything. You think you could talk to the guy in the front boat? Forget it. You could yell as loud as you want. He cannot hear a word you're saying. It's just so much noise with the ice, the boat. It's impossible.
So how do you do the
Communication?
commands and communications?
Well, it's visual.
Yeah, so in training we practice steering with our head. So we steer with our head first. If me and my partner who are in the bow will lean to the right, indicating that we're gonna go
I'll see
around
that.
an obstacle
Yeah.
to the right side.
And I'll
Yeah.
help with the back of the boat too. I watch their body movement. I don't hear what they're saying. I watch what they're doing. Are they moving this way? Are they moving that way? And if it's a big correction, you might see an arm come out like this. And I quickly try to make that change as quick as possible.
So how do you dress for this? I mean, at any time you could
Must
take
be
a pretty
drenched.
cold dip, right?
I'd say half the time you take a pretty cold dip.
Yes.
But we'll explain what we wear. It's not very much, actually.
So we get this question asked a lot. It's a great question. The only thing that we wear on our feet that resembles a neoprene is a neoprene boot, and we might wear a sleeve up to just below the knee or above the knee. But wearing neoprene would be too warm, so we dress like a cross-country skier to
Exactly.
the exception of the footwear.
Yeah.
Yeah, because after about 2 minutes, we're redlining, we're into the anaerobic phase, which is the exhaustion phase, and we start to sweat really.
So you just hope you don't go into the water.
No, it's
too
not
far.
that big of a deal. I mean, you do get wet, and I'd say there's been some practices where we'll come out of there that you can't take anything off because you got this much ice on your clothes. You're just covered, and you're not that cold until actually when you stop. And when you stop for about 5 minutes, they start to sink in, and then you do get chilled. But no, I've had where you couldn't get any of your stuff off until you actually got back to where we're staying. Get in a hot shower with all your clothes on and let it melt it off.
Let it melt.
You can't get it off. There's no way. You can't get it off. Yeah.
Oh, geez.
That's amazing. What about crazy outfits? Obviously, it's a bunch of teams, and you bring your own boats, I take it?
No, we have boats that we store out there.
Yeah,
that
do you
people
do?
look
Okay.
after us. Yeah, we
But
have
they're
a-
decorated, are they?
Yeah, with Calgary. Just basically, our boat is just Calgary, and it's got a couple sponsors like Vermac and E-Revolution.
Our evolution.
Our
that's right,
Revolution, yeah. And those are the only symbols we have on there besides the big Calgary. And we leave them out there, so they stay out there. We don't go back and forth.
You wear your
Your hats?
We do in the time trials.
Time trials.
Yeah.
But not in the race.
Yeah.
Oh,
And warming
They
up.
would be really in the way.
Yeah, I was gonna
It would be
say.
very annoying. Yeah.
So, and team colors, you're all in red, or?
Yeah, it's changed
No?
over the years. The last few
Yeah?
years we've been wearing a yellow top, and it's more for a sponsor for paddling. Yeah, gave us these jackets.
Oh, okay.
And so another sponsor. So we have a few sponsors to help us out.
The craziest part of our uniform is the footwear. We
should've
have
brought those cleats.
inch and a half long crampons to claw our way
for
to
the
propel
ice.
ourselves
Right.
forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is this something you just go into a store and you buy
no,
a
we
canoe,
make 'em up. We make
ice
'em up.
racing,
okay.
Yeah,
you make them?
Like farmers, we had to invent
Invent.
those, and we followed the lead of the local teams in Quebec
yeah.
on how to make them.
So you make them yourselves, or
Yes,
you
we
get
do.
a shoemaker?
Right
to do
now,
it?
no. Right now, what we've been using the last few years is we take rugby cleats. We get a plastic pad on the bottom that we bolt in, and we put these. And I should have brought one with me, and I'll maybe send you a picture. But it's got these big, basically concrete cleats that go in them. So they're just on your bottom of your foot and your back of your foot, and you just, like you say, it's just for climbing. You could climb. You could probably climb up an ice wall. You could probably use it for ice climbing. They're really big spikes. Yeah.
Wow. And what is the speed? You can get up to how fast?
You can get going, depending on the situation, you can get going faster than you could run if you've got the perfect conditions. But typically, no. Typically, you've got chunky ice and slushy ice. But if you do if you got a big pad, and that does happen once in a while, you could get with that screwing that we do, you can get it going fast enough that you probably couldn't you couldn't sprint alongside of it. You'd have a hard time keeping up. But that's for short little pieces.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rowing in kilometers an hour, what we call the hull speed is the speed the hull likes to go at with minimum effort. It's in the neighborhood of 8-9 kilometers an hour. And when we decide to invest even more energy and push hard, we can get that to about 12 to 14 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
You can't sustain that for too long because it's a displacement hull, meaning that it's pushing water, it's opening the water ahead of the
big
bow.
Yeah, it's a big
five
boat.
people.
Yeah, it's a big boat.
We double that speed, probably close to 30 kilometers an hour, like Barney was saying, if we have an ice rink
Yeah.
condition day.
If you have flat ice, that's the best. Next best is water. And like, it depends on the conditions, like if it's chunky or low ice.
So it's a winter sport. What do you do the rest of the year?
Yeah.
Myself, I'm a paddler and a mountain biker. I do a lot of mountain biking. I did probably 5 mountain bike races this last summer. I did about 8 or 9 cyclocross races. I did minimal amount of paddling this year, but typically paddling's a big part of it too. We probably have 2 or 3 races, and usually outrigger races. And Jacques does a lot of outrigger races.
And this is all over the world. You don't just do this.
No.
That's right, all over the world, yeah. Yeah, paddling.
Hawaii and
Hawaii, yeah. New Caledonia, Australia, but that's the major races.
And you said once every 2 years
every
or
2 years
so?
they have an outrigger sprint competition, which is not long distance. Most of the outrigger races are up to 4 hours. These are short sprints, like 1,500 to 1,000 meter turns on boys. So yeah, they're a sprint.
and we've had it here.
Yes, we have had it
That's
in
right.
Calgary.
2012.
Yeah, 2012.
Oh.
Teams from all over the world, basically South Pacific teams, Hawaii, Australia, New Zealand, Tahiti, Fiji. So for them to come to Canada, it was the first race that they've had in these outrigger sprints. It wasn't on the ocean. It was inside of a country. They were quite excited to come to Canada and race.
On the reservoir.
On the
basically.
reservoir,
That's right, yeah.
That must
Yeah.
have been quite a spectacle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, this is all the time we have, unfortunately. There's
Okay.
a million questions we'd like to ask. Maybe we'll continue those en français. Thank you. Stay with us. We will continue this en français.